Hello, Santa Fe. We are celebrating Santa Fe Navy Week, and it's my pleasure to be here for another installment of Naval History and Heritage Command's Cooking with Tom. And today we're cooking with Peter O'Brien from Bishop Lodge, Auberge Resorts, and in the Cooking with Kids Santa Fe kitchen. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Howdy.
Good to
We're
see
definitely doing great.
you over there. Good. All right. Well, so we are getting started with cooking a dish from World War II Navy cookbook, and it's an interesting one at that. 1945, the the dish, and then we're also getting a by the book with Tom, the actual how it's done history wise, and then we're going to do a more modern Santa Fe flair and flavor with Peter. So, Tom, could you give us a little background on this recipe?
So the recipe itself comes out of the 1945 edition of the Cookbook of the United States Navy. And in here are a ton of different recipes that we with the Naval History and Heritage Command actually try out in our series, The History Galley, which we show on our Facebook page. And it's fun to kind of take a look back and see what the sailors ate during World War II and try it out today. And the recipe we're going to be focusing on is beef with Spanish rice. And the recipe itself calls for canned beef, which, you were talking about flavorful for Santa Fe. This recipe may not be that flavorful. So we'll get into that during the segment here.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. So, but Peter, you're gonna provide us the actual tasty version of this. Please let us know how you're gonna make this tasty.
So, I was inspired by that delicious sounding menu, and right right away that carne asada was going to be the best dish to represent Santa Fe. So we've got some great flank steak. We've got some chilies. We're making, since it's the holidays, we're going to do Christmas chili. So we're going to do green and red sauces. And I'm ready to get started whenever you are.
All right. Well, let's get going then. All right. What's our first ingredient?
So this right here, we're going to start off with our rice, get it going first. And what I do is I take fresh chopped tomatoes and garlic and some dried Mexican oregano, and I pour it into and some chicken stock, and I puree it all in a blender. And you can keep this for a few days in your refrigerator. And I just keep it in a balls jar. I'm going to fill this pan about halfway. And Jael, my buddy, my assistant here from Cooking with Kids, is going to put it in the oven for us.
All right.
You got it, buddy? Perfect. You killed it, man. Good job. All right. So after that, we're going to get our beef going. We've got, what I did was I took some flank steak and we pureed some garlic, some cilantro, some anise seed, some Mexican oregano, salt and black pepper, and a little bit of olive oil. And we poured it over the steak, and it's been marinating for about 12 hours. Wow. And we're going to take this and the sauce and everything and put it in this nice hot iron skillet like my grandmother used to have. This is going to get a little smoky. So we're going to sear it. We're going to sear it for a few seconds on either side, and then we're going to pop it in the oven. With the rest of the sauce. Yeah. And then,
all right.
Okay.
Now we'll switch over to Tom. Tom, show us some of your ingredients from the World War II cookbook.
So the ingredients themselves, the recipe actually calls for 100 portions. So we've actually scaled down the recipe so that we can make it, in this tiny kitchen that you can see here. And I don't have 100 sailors here to eat all of this meal. So we've definitely scaled it down. The first ingredient is onions dehydrated. Now that was a challenge to find. So we actually had to use a real onion for this. And it originally calls for a half gallon of onions. We've scaled it down to just one. Next is fat melted, about 2.5 tablespoons. And what we're going to do is basically brown the onions in a pan over here. And then next is rice uncooked. Originally 3/4 of a gallon. We've scaled that down to about half a cup. So we're going to get that into the water in just a minute. Next is beef roast canned. Now, usually it would come in what they call a number 10 can. It's a very large can that would, and I've seen these cans before. They have a cow stamped on the side and it just says U.S. government beef. We're not going to be using that today. I actually did get a roast and cooked it earlier, and we've cooked it up and cubed it up too, as it calls for in the recipe. And we've also added the juices into there as well, as it calls for in the recipe. So originally it called for about 12 pounds. We'll be using 3/4 of a pound. And then tomatoes, they actually called for canned tomatoes. So we were able to get some canned tomatoes here. So we're going to be using those. And it calls for 1.5 pounds. Then you have water boiling. We're going to be using about 3/4 of a cup, maybe a little bit more than that. And then for flavoring, salt and pepper. And that's it really right there. So not as good as it sounds down there. So it basically calls for you to cook the onions and then cut up the beef as I had. And then you're going to combine the beef juices, the onions, rice, tomatoes, water, salt, and pepper, mix it well, and then heat it to a boiling temperature. And you let it simmer and until the rice is tender, and really, that's it. And
Well, Tom, the question really is, are you going to eat this after you make it?
I always try whatever we make, and I will definitely brave this for you all, and we'll definitely try it out. And what's fascinating about this recipe is that sailors aboard USS New Mexico, BV-40, during World War II, probably ate this meal. So there's that nice local connection for you right there. So we're going to get started and get everything into the pot and really see how it turns out.
Sounds good, Tom. We'll be watching you, and then we'll have, if you chime in with anything, we'll let you know.
Excellent.
Tom, that sounds like a fabulous date night. You're gonna
Just
gonna be
lots of
tonight's gonna be special, I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So let's talk about chilies. We've got some chilies de Santa Fe from the farmers market. We'll probably get some chilies from Matt Romero when we go down to the market to show you the chili festival, or not the chili festival, the farmers market, and Matt Romero roasted chilies. It's pretty fabulous. So these are the dried version. So this is what we make our red chili with. And then the green version that's been roasted is right here. And what I've done is I've put some chunks of garlic, some big roasted garlic, and some onion, and roasted all this in a pan and added a little bit of chicken stock, chicken broth to it. And at this point, what we're going to want to do is make our sauce. We're going to puree it. If you hold that for me, partner. All right. We're going to throw this in the blender. Get this rolling. We got our rice in the oven. We got our steak cooking. And whoa. Wow, that was good. Did you see that?
Casualty.
My wife must have been making margaritas last night.
Well, that's what we were talking about this earlier, though. What would be the best pairing with this type of meal, Peter?
Margarita wouldn't be too bad, but we were also talking about maybe a nice Mexican beer, a lager or something like that, and a shot of mezcal tequila would be good.
Tom,
all right, here we go.
If you want to know the World War II pairing in this cookbook, they do have sample menus for this meal: lemonade and coffee.
Oh, no Tang?
Oh,
Tang wasn't around, but
Tang wasn't around then, but they did have like powdered lemonade that you could mix up, and it probably tasted like battery acid.
Nah,
blood away here.
that's what we need. That's exactly what I would drink after that meal is battery acid. Perfect.
Yeah.
A little thick, so we're gonna add a little bit more of our chicken broth. And we're gonna add a little bit of salt, pepper, and some lime. And some cilantro. All right. So this is our green sauce. Green chili. I'm gonna keep that nice and warm. You mind just rinsing this out for me, please? Real quick. And then we're going to talk about our red sauce. So these are the red chilies. What we've done is we've taken the seeds, the stems off, kind of rip them open a little bit. Take these seeds out. We just want the meat of the chili. And then we put it in and steep it with the chicken stock. And it also has a little bit of roasted onion and roasted garlic mixed with it as well. Thank you, sir. We're going to make our red chili.
So Peter, where did these chilies come from? The ones you're using right now?
These came from the farmer's market. These the green chilies came from San Antonio, New Mexico, and they're sort of a mild, not a real hot chili. When you go to the farmer's market, you'll see all the chilies in Ziploc bags, and you'll see a few guys roasting them in a big roaster. And then what they do is they'll have like hot, mild, smoky, what have you. The green chilies, what people like about the green chili is a little bit of heat, and real earthy green spice to chili. On the dried red ones, what people like about that is a little bit more smoky flavor, and same about a heat. Earthy, smoky heat from the red chili. All right. So here's our carne. It's pretty rare right now. And here's our rice.
Good.
Rice is looking real good. See here. So I'm gonna have you. This pan's hot, bud. So you're gonna just scoop the little rice right here in the center of the plate. Okay. You can hold the pan if you need to. Killing it. Perfect. That's plenty. All right, and then we'll just push that over there. Let's go ahead. No, yeah, that's perfect. Watch this.
So Peter, what can you tell us about the roasting of chili pepper? What goes into
it's
chili pepper?
So literally for the last two and a half months, maybe 3 months, you can smell roasted chilies all over Santa Fe. So what the greatest smells in Santa Fe are, besides my food, of course. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. But is in the around September, you start to smell the roasted chilies on all the corners of town, and down in the farmer's market. It smells so good. And then pretty soon, what's going to happen, and it happened 2 days ago, we got a bunch of snow. got pretty cold, and so you start smelling the pinion fireplaces. And so those two are synonymous with Santa Fe, and it's one of the reasons I moved here. I had a restaurant in Austin a number of years, and we used to roast chilies down in Austin, and we used to pick up a U-Haul full of pinion wood, and we had a fireplace in our restaurant, and we'd burn pinion wood in the winter. It was great. All right. So how about that? Is that
Zoom in.
for you?
You gotta see it. Oh yeah, that's it right there.
Beautiful.
Let's see,
Okay.
Tom, what does it look like?
What does mine look like?
Bring it close to us.
Oh yeah,
Okay, all right, all right.
that's pretty good. Okay, so this is flank steak, y'all. So this is the way the lines, the veins go in on the muscle of the flank steak. So when you cut flank steak, you got to cut it against those lines. Real important. So then it'll just melt in your mouth. That way you don't mess around. So we're gonna slice this up. Ooh, it smells so good. We're gonna set it on our rice right there.
Man,
Oh yeah.
presentation's everything, isn't it, Peter?
Oh yeah. It's everything. All right, buddy. Will you take that? Set it over in the sink. Watch that knife. All right. So now that we've got our beef, we're gonna do our Christmas.
Oh, there we go. Here's the flavor. Yeah. How's that smell, Jael?
Smells pretty good.
Yeah.
I can hear it just by looking at it. How's your smell, Tom? Pretty good?
Not too bad. You definitely get the tomatoes and onions out of it. Again, I'm extremely jealous of those chilies right there. You know, I wish I had some right here to put into this.
I'll have to send you some, Tom. So
Oh,
this is a traditional Santa Fe dish, and it's actually the dish itself was made here in Santa Fe at Whiskey Clay by Kim Rhodes, and she's doing all of our dishes right now. She's glazing them all for our restaurant to open here in a month, and we've got again carne asada, Spanish rice, Christmas sauce. Whoop, am I better?
There it is. Yeah. Little Christmas gift.
Yeah. Bon appetit.
Wonderful.
So mine will just be done in probably a few minutes. But as we're waiting, if you want, I can tell you a little bit about the Naval History and Heritage Command.
Yeah, hit us up a little bit. Tell us about Naval History and Heritage. Tell us what it means.
So the Naval History and Heritage Command is basically the Navy's history department. We're in charge of the Navy's entire collection, their archives. We also have 10 museums all across the country, and also the underwater archaeology branch. So they're in charge of all of the U.S. Navy shipwrecks and downed aircraft all around the world. So we are the historians and history keepers for the U.S. Navy, and by doing videos like this, we're able to help share that history, and hopefully folks at home will be able to try out some of the history that we're sharing as well. And if they want to learn more, just go to history.navy.mil, the website of the Naval History and Heritage Command.
Fantastic.
Excellent. All right, so I think it may be done, so I'm just going to turn the camera over here to where I'm plating, and
Yes.
bring it on over.
What are you plating on there, Tom? It looks like something authentic.
It is. It's a U.S. Navy mess tray from World War II, and I didn't tell you this, but I've kind of recreated a menu here out of the cookbook. So this is what some of the sailors, probably aboard USS New Mexico, would have had for dinner one evening. So I've plated up the beef and Spanish rice. I'll bring it up to the camera here. And as you can see, we have roasted carrots, an orange, piece of bread, your beef and Spanish rice, and then my ace in the hole, hopefully, I have our rice pudding out of the cookbook as well. And I've had this before, and it tastes really good. But let's why don't we give the beef and Spanish rice a try, if you will.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
here we go.
Moment of truth there.
Here goes nothing. It's kind of bland. Not gonna lie. It's
If you were standing 8 hours of watch during World War II, would it be bland?
probably not. It would be hot, and especially again different ocean environments. If it's a cold night, that's something that you would want in your system. And again, it's one of those things you got to remember. The Navy was not looking for taste; they were looking for caloric intake and what could keep for a long time when the sailor was when the ship was at sea.
Gotcha. Well, with Peter though and Jael, I think taste is everything, right? Calories. We're okay with calories, right?
Calories. Yeah, I'm going to show you the good side.
That's right. And, well, and then calories and the taste that keep those flowing locks beautiful, right? Can we get
That's right. That's right.
He's got some beautiful flowing mane there that he's been growing in the these COVID times. Not as mustache on Tom, but still pretty good. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It looks great. I guess you can send me, both of you can send me a little portion in a box, maybe a styrofoam container, wrap it with something and put a stamp and then send it to Millington, Tennessee. I will, I'll eat a portion. I'll tell you which one's better afterwards. All right.
I'll tell you what. I'll save you the misery and not send you this.
Oh. If you insist.
Well, it looks good, Tom. You have an awesome date night, buddy.
Yeah. I don't know. I may be in the doghouse after this.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you very much. Thank you to both Peter and Jael, Tom. It's been a pleasure. Loved cooking with you guys, or at least being here watching you guys do all that work. Can't wait to, at some point, come on down to Santa Fe, try the Christmas chilies, try the delicious meat, and of course, go over to Bishop's Lodge, Auberge Resort when it's open, and I'll make my way to Naval History and Heritage Command and view from behind a plexiglass thing what it looked like back then. So thank you very much, guys. Any last shout outs or goodbyes to our audience?
No, just y'all come on down to Santa Fe and visit us.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.